Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to 22nd Annual World Congress of Society for Brain Mapping and Neurotech, Pharma Tech, Cell Tech, Biotech, and MedTech. So today we will talk about some of the initiatives, some of the programs within the organization, and within full disclosure, I put some of the affiliations that I have with the foundation as a president and chairman of the board and CEO of the Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutics, and also President and CEO of Aramis Therapeutics. So with that, we move to acknowledge our partners. Some of the data I will be presenting here, they're all published data and in collaboration with Lawrence Livermore National Lab at Oak Ridge, Beyond Imagination, and Ulrich Institute, and other partners who are listed here. So I was also a visiting scientist at NASA, so my background is in electrical engineering and medicine. So one of the areas that we take a look at is how to actually use space technology for intraoperative brain mapping, because one of the issues in brain tumor detection while you're operating is tumor delineation. So when you start opening the cranium, there's a brain shift, and because the air gets into it, and then we start manipulating the actual tumor, the tumor starts shifting. So any preoperative data set that you have no longer applies. So I'm going to tell you later in the talk how we actually use optical photonics to do real-time imaging. So if you can run that video for me. So this is one of the skull-based tumors that one of our colleagues did, and as you can see, as you manipulate the tumor nearby the aqueduct, this tumor starts moving, and your preoperative registrations of the tumor with MRI no longer applies. So today's learning objective is to familiarize who we are as an organization, and also, role of scientists in public policy, and how, as an organization, we actually advocate these issues, and fast-track therapeutics as a venture philanthropy arm between Brain Mapping Foundation and Aramis Therapeutics. So, and also we're going to define what's brain mapping. It's not only imaging. Imagine brain mapping as a Google map. You get a snapshot of Earth, that's your MRI. You zoom down on cities, that's functional MRI. Zoom down on roads, those are diffusion tensor imaging. Cars on the roads, those are cells. People in the car are nanoscale molecules. So anything from Earth to people, from MRI to nanoparticles, those are basically mapping of those are considered to be the brain mapping. So how Sbmt and WBMF partner impact global health, obviously through some of the legislative activities that we have backed. California Regenerative Medicine legislation, which is now $5.5 billion for stem cell. We were partnering with the EU Human Brain Projects. So, but the society is an association like any other association, American Medical Association, and the charity is raising funds for brain research and also fund the convention. But also we have an initiative like Neuroscience 20, which is basically focused on global policy and fast-tracking therapeutics globally with the G20 summit. So the function of the societies are convention, exhibition halls, and programming. The function of the charity is the gala tonight that will raise money for that. So if you can run that video for me.
For brain mapping does a fantastic job bringing together experts from multiple fields, from geneticists to engineers to neurologists.
We've got rocket scientists here, we've got neurosurgeons here, all thinking about how to solve very difficult problems.
What this organization represents is a leading-edge integrator for the disciplines that exist in medicine wherever they are, and actually in engineering.
The challenge is making sure that we're able to cut across all of these silos to make sure that we're sharing the information and providing collective power of our new knowledge. And I think Sbmt is clearly representing that venue, that platform that allows that to happen.
The efforts in the background of this organization will assist all of us who work in neuroscience.
The organisation is a leader in terms of advocacy in bringing key people together, both academics but also key policy decision makers.
We develop a lot of technology for space exploration at JPL, but there's lots of application of these technologies in the medical field. And of course, being part of the society puts us directly in contact with these folks and helps us tremendously to get those technologies transferred out into the medical industry.
What is talked about in terms of treatment and diagnostics here is really going to be the forefront in the future.
At a minimum, be engaged. Share your stories every chance you get. And don't be shy about expressing your needs and concerns. Nobody else is. How we make decisions, communicate, and process information is a vital part of this new frontier.
I think the way that we do this collaboration is through public-private partnership, and basically our focus is fast-tracking therapeutics and through a multidisciplinary approach. So, I think one of the definitions that we are introducing here, as I said, a new way of looking at the brain mapping and therapeutics. So brain mapping, anything from imaging all the way to cellular level is considered brain mapping. And a couple of concepts are new here, probably for some of you, is a nanoneuroscience and nanoneurosurgery and nanobioelectronics. Application of nanotechnology in neuroscience is nanoneuroscience. Application of nanotechnology for precision-guided therapeutics in neurosurgical cases in nanoneurosurgery, which we will be signing a textbook of nanoneurosurgery, just came out. And also integration of nanotechnology with device medical imaging and cell therapy, which is at the heart of this organization, is called nanobioelectronics. So, as you heard earlier on, we have had 22 annual conventions with a network of 100,000 scientists globally, and also have held international conferences and recognized by the city mayor, and a lot of the publications has come out of this, including the textbook of nanoneurosurgery here, and which the first edition was appreciated by President Obama, and who sent me a signed letter. So many of your talks will be turned into special editions in scientific literature, and we are delighted to collaborate with you in terms of the publication. So we are very active on the policy side, and we were active on formulation of the President Obama's Brain Initiative, and that's me with him at the White House amongst the 120 top scientists in the United States. But also we are very active on the policies that push through, let's say Canadian, legislator. We started the Canadian Brain Initiative and Australian Brain Initiative. We work with a lot of the movie stars. Some of them will be at the gala, and kind of advocate policies and initiatives that impact global mental health. We have spoken at the UN General Assembly, and work with President Biden on the cancer moonshot, and also awarded Stephen Hawkins in 2015, 10 years ago, at the Cambridge. So if I can have the next slide. It's not working. Okay. So if you can run that video. As I said, we are working on advancing policy, and we have our own policy arm in Washington. And we work from legislator, local level, all the way to the White House, no matter who is in the White House. In the last 9 years, we have held congressional briefing for U.S. Congress. This organization was one of the main organizations which formulated and executed President Obama's BRAIN initiative. We have been very active in neuroscience policy and innovation.
What's needed is commitment by the scientific community to engage the public and to engage politicians, because the public may not be aware of the promise, the economic promise and the scientific promise, the promise to make our lives better, the promise to cure diseases. Politicians, on the other hand, have a lot of people pulling at strings, and if the scientists don't engage them, then they're not going to be feeling necessary to engage them back, because there's so many other interests involved. So I think if scientists will get involved in the political process by participating in fly-ins once a year, or by meeting with politicians in their offices regularly.
Congressmen were very receptive. They're there to help their constituents. Traumatic brain injury and PTSD are something that they recognize. And so by lobbying them and bringing in the best of the best that Dr. Katab does, fosters this entire field, helps coordinate it, helps make it grow.
So when you, as an innovator, an entrepreneur, surgeon, try to move the needle and advance a certain aspect of the field, you eventually will run into traditional or well-established treatment guidelines and policies. So having the ability with the backwind of an organization to innovate that and implement it and spell it out in a way where it comes across as professional, backed up by clinical evidence that's high grade, that's really exciting to be able to do that.
Nothing really happens until you have the policy part of it. For any really mature organization, policy and how you advocate in the United States and Washington, D.C. is a really important part of how we're going to get these better treatments.
It's a long way to change concepts of people and make them understand. And we are trying to have Congress pass a bill if possible.
And so we engage and collaborate with several different levels of the government. Congressman Rowe was here yesterday. He gave an excellent speech. He's a big pusher of healthcare policy.
Thank you to Babak, Dr. Babak, for his incredible vision and leadership. I appreciate the recognition for my work on Endless Frontiers. Endless Frontiers is legislation that has passed the Senate 68-32. We will pass it in the House this fall, and it will mark the greatest increase in science and technology investment this federal government has made since the 1960s, $100 billion of increased investment.
So I think in terms of integrating government and trying to push forward neuroscience, collaborative efforts with the government and also international organizations is going to continue to be the mission and my vision for this organization.
It's very important to have an educated policymaker in your district or policymakers in general who make policies based on science, in our case, neuroscience.
Be engaged. Share your stories every chance you get. And don't be shy about expressing your needs and concerns. Nobody else is. How we make decisions, communicate, and process information is a vital part of this new frontier. I look forward to exploring it with you together.
So as you can see, we are very active on the policy side, and it's not working, so can you move to the next slide? So, so we want you to be part of this solution because we present here, we identify problems that are not going to be solved with actual science, but it's a policy issue. You have the science, you have the technology, but it does not get it to patients. So please talk to us about your ideas, and we are interested to do that. So there's a $2 billion initiative that we are pushing forward. It's called Brain Technology Innovation Park for fast-tracking therapeutics. Starting spin-offs like Aramis Therapeutics. And we have a network that is built over 22 years of, basically entrepreneurs, large universities, government agencies. That's part of the ecosystem of the Sbmt. So I think if you can show that video, it's now messed up. We have an initiative called Brain Technology Innovation Park. We are going to construct a new biotechnology park in Los Angeles.
Brain Technology Innovation Park is a special type of incubator. What an incubator does is it takes ideas and it brings them to market faster and at lower cost.
Obviously, it's a very large investment. It would need tremendous support both from the state of California and from the federal government. I think it would be a game change to try to really develop that kind of a multidisciplinary neuroscientific brain power consortium right here in California.
Certainly the Brain Technology and Innovation Park is something that's going to foster and forward science in general. It's really several $1 billion dedicated to neuroscience. That's going to be inclusive of putting money towards things like Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, and also stem cell research. Those are well-needed things in the complexity of what we're trying to fight, particularly in those neurodegenerative diseases.
So what I like to see is to see more successful story of translating all this discovery into actual clinical setting, and then try to use this method or discovery into actual practice.
Why neurotech? Because neurotechnology is an emerging field, like AI. Years ago, you would hear about augmented reality and virtual reality. That was a great story about new advancement in science. Now you're hearing about AI, machine learning, and supercomputing. But the next generation of technology will be neurotech. Your car will be working based on your thoughts. The technologies that we'll be having is going to be basically work off of your neuronal signaling. Neurotechnology is a great field that's going to be revolutionizing our living. And that's one of the reasons we call this convention as a Neurotech Convention. So if you can go to the next slide. This is not working. Go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, so basically that one of the reasons that we have put this conference together is really integrating nanotechnology, device, medical imaging, and cell therapy. And in my next slides, you will see that we are not only bringing scientists of different background here. Many of you are optometrists, neurologists, neurosurgeons. But I think our group will also have brought together spine surgeons and nanotechnologists, so we could actually fast-track therapeutics. So we could go to the next slide. So basically, also we have programs for students, and many of you who are students could be participating in our internship and fellowship program. You're more than welcome to talk to Dr. Kevin Morris and Dr. Joe Bolanos, who's our COO, and basically, sign up. And also we have about 20 subcommittees for spine and optometry, ophthalmology, and skull base. And if you can click on that web link, you can actually, we can skip that, don't worry about it. So go back to the next slide. So we have Women in a Neurotech Initiative. We have a humanitarian mission, which is on the website that you could actually see. But, we are taking a venture philanthropy approach. So through our amazing donors and supporters, Brain Mapping Foundation is, partnering with Aramis Therapeutics, bringing some of the advanced technologies into kind of forefront of medicine. So in this case, just take a look at the wavelengths that we are going to be discussing in terms of the X-ray and the UV. UV is 10 to 400 nanometers, and the infrared is 700 nanometer to a millimeter, and microwave about 1 millimeter to a meter. And basically, in this case, we actually designed a device to microwave brain cancer, and this is Dr. Ray Chu and me operating on a pig. So we designed a device to implant the electrode in the center of the tumor and dial the size of the tumor, and that was kind of FDF for soft tissue, and the device could work with the laptop, and at the time of the biopsy in that video, I'm saying that you could actually, take the biopsy needle out, put the microwave in, and dial the size of the lesion and zap it. So, now we're talking about nanotechnology. I mean, many of us here presented nanomedicine, and in this case, we took NASA's carbon nanotube and functionalized it with sulfur at the middle. So we use it as a form of a drug delivery, in this case, siRNA to live, human immune system macrophages, and wrap them with the poronic dye. You can see it actually with the red dots. So, and basically these carbon nanotubes could be picked up by macrophages, and they could be activated to attack cancer. So, and then their profile of cytokine profile didn't change. If you can take a look at the cytokine profile, it goes up but then come down to normalize. And so the video you're going to see, these are live human brain cells and macrophages with nanoparticles in them as a form of drug delivery. So this is nano-neurosurgery, targeted therapy, immunotherapy. So when somebody talk about nanomedicine, is this something in the future? No, it is here. So, so this is the same approach in animal model, and these are all published. So I'm not going to bother with you with too much data, but you can find them, and you can see the kind of the carbon nanotubes in red, and then CD68 plus cells. There are macrophages in green, so they're spread throughout the tumor cavity. We also use nanoparticles for basically tracking cells. This is a paper we published in Nature scientific report with kind of AC magnetic field stimulation, nanoelectroporation. You can basically send the nanoparticles into cells, and then that's important for stem cell therapy. Some of you presented cell therapy and stem cell therapy, and it's very important that you can actually track cells. So in this case, we put the nanoparticles in the cells, and then that nanoparticle could be imaged with the MRI in mice and in monkeys. And that is through our National Center for Nanobioelectronics. So we're basically integrating cell therapy with nano, with imaging. So that's next generation drugs. So Professor John Yu is here, who is my co-editor of textbook of nanoneurosurgery and vice chairman of neurosurgery at Cedars-Sinai. We collaborated on this nano pro drugs, and basically, without going too much detail, again, it's published. They're like scaffolds and of the building, so you can put the bricks in between and put the roof on top of it. So in this case, bricks in between are ibuprofen and alpha tocopherol, and you tag them so you can actually image these nanoparticles like this, either with gadolinium or other compounds. So the application of this in the nanopro drugs, actually, we published way back with John on this, is that you get the nanoparticles to the area of traumatic brain injury directly. So if you look at the nanoparticle distribution in the neurotrauma area, you see the red area. So that means it's a targeted nanoneurosurgery. That means in the future, when somebody get into a car accident, they get a bolus of nanodrug, and the nanodrug going to go to the area of traumatic brain injury, reduce inflammation, increase oxygenation, expanding the golden hour, which is very, very important for treatment of traumatic brain injury. So now you can use this in Alzheimer's, stroke, and you can use this in other brain cancer areas. So the collaboration with NASA was really fascinating, because NASA used electronic nose to sniff air quality in our National Space Center. They actually use it to sniff cancer, believe it or not. You have heard about dogs sniffing cancer. So some of the cancer cells are very, very smelly, and some of them really smell really bad. So we actually, through this electronic nose, which is a nanofilm, so is a is a nanofilm fibers that traps compounds and gives you a signal so you can detect between normal cells and cancer cells. So that was receive an award from NASA. And then we thought that this is in 1998, if my glasses help me out here. So in 1998, we started working in collaboration with the Harvard image-guided lab. So that time we were talking about augmented reality. So it's back in almost like 20-something years ago. So, in this case, we use optical spectroscopy using NASA's ultraviolet imaging. They use ultraviolet imaging to detect galaxies and supernovas. But it turns out that cancer cells have fluorophores that upregulate it. So if you block the visible light and pick up the peak excitation of those fluorophores, you can actually detect intraoperatively the cancer. So in this case, if you can see this is the metastatic melanoma to the brain and operated by one of the colleagues at USC. It is published in almost 20 years ago. And you can fast track that a little bit, toward the middle of it. And this tumor is hypervascularized, and as most brain tumors don't bleed like that, but this is metastatic skin cancer to the brain. And you could see that when you actually take the tumor, there's blood everywhere, but when you suck up the blood with the visible eye, you would think that, okay, well, I took everything out. But, if you, this is suctioning the tumor cavity, you think, okay, I took everything out. Now go to the second video, and the second video going to show you, oops, can you go back? How do I go back? Can you, the second video down, yeah. Second video down on that. Yeah, here we go. You turn that out, and you can go all the way to the middle. So that's the tumor. You can go all the way to the middle. We are taking the tumor out, go a little bit further, and you can see the tumor is out. And then you can see the tumor is in the petri dish. So that tumor is resected, and and then you can see the tumor in the petri dish toward tail end right now here. So it's still hyperactive, and because the cells in tumors are hyperactive, in this case, metastatic tumors. So how do we actually bring all this thing together? Of course, everybody talks about AI, and everybody AI. Okay, so this is Arianox, one of the companies we collaborated with, and they actually take data sets. So you can take data, image, medical records, genetic information, and then just really combine it with your own digital biomarkers. And applications are basically in chronic headaches, schizophrenia, and dementia, and neurotrauma, but also the technologies that we could integrate from imaging and big data all the way to biopsies and so on. So this is another example of multimodality imaging for brain mapping. So you can see you basically pancake the data and get the intraoperative kind of multispectral imaging. And that gives you a data set like this. So this is diffusion tensor imaging. And that's looking at the brain pathways. Remember, brain mapping all the way from MRI to pathways of the brain in this case, and all the way to basically the molecular level. So many of you have heard about quantum computing, supercomputing. How many have actually seen a quantum computer here? Anybody? Nobody. Supercomputer? Nobody. Okay, so from today on, you can say, I've seen a quantum computer and I've seen a supercomputer. So if you go the first video, run the first video. So this is a Jülich Institute. It has a sound. Can you turn on the sound on the first video? Not this one, next, the blue one, yeah. Stop the other one. Turn on the sound, yeah.
So that's a typical typical view on such a machine, yeah? You have a connectivity and you have compute nodes and you have warm water cooling.
So the black computers and gray computers, they're parallel supercomputers, okay? So, I mean, a lot of energy, a lot of noise, and, but they're processing huge amount of data. Now go to quantum computer. So that's the largest quantum computer in Europe, in Jülich Institute. The first one, yeah. Turn it on. Very quiet. But this quantum computer actually, go ahead, yeah. Much faster than entire supercomputers that you saw. So I'm not a computer scientist, but I tell you that the supercomputer will work based on the flop. We have explained that, and quantum computers keep the data in a fluid state. And now we have a neuromorphic computing that is working, really like a human brain. Let's say if you want to put a computing on a robot, you don't put supercomputer and quantum computer on a robot. You put neuromorphic system in robots, which we have done in AI robotics in slides that are coming. Okay, all of these are great, but you're going to say, okay, show me the data. Okay, well, how are you using this in patients? Okay, I've got three kind of videos. So one is the video of actual human brain sliced, and all of those sliced cut to thinner slices, and we have done the histology on them. And then the same human being kind of image has data combined with all of this is in the image. So if you run all three of them, okay, yeah, so you can run all three of them. Yeah. So you can see there are terabytes and terabytes and gigabytes of data per patient, and this is where the quantum computers are used. If you're having 10,000 patients and you really want to actually start getting the data, that's when you need the quantum computing and supercomputing. You don't, I mean, but if you want to put this in the robots, then you need neuromorphic computing, okay? And the neuromorphic computings, in this case, we are awarding Dr. Harry Klur, I'm not sure if he's here, and, there's a company called Beyond Imagination. If you want, you guys can go ahead and look up beyondme.ai. So we are working on next generation avatar robots with neuromorphic computing. So, and all of this will be connected to Internet of Everything. So in the future, your operating room devices are all tagged. Actually, we had a talk in the spine section that there's a company that's tagging all the devices in the operating room. As you use it, it actually identify which one is used. But then your MRI going to talk to your microscope, to talk to your front desk, and that's Internet of Everything in medicine. So all of this are great. As I said, the multispectral imaging could help us detect tumors, because the fluorophores in the tumors, let's say in this case, NAD is upregulated, but it has an optical signature, is a peak excitations. So you get all these peak excitations, and then you block out the visible light. But then in this case, you can actually, it's like 5-ALA, you could actually see the tumor that you could not see. It's all normal, but you can all of a sudden see the tumor, okay? But then with the quantum computing, you can actually do the predictive modeling. So that's the prediction of the tumor, how you actually, the tumor can grow, which direction, and so on. So that's where the integration of imaging and quantum computing, supercomputing can actually revolutionize neurosurgery. And then all of a sudden, you can actually put this in mixed reality. Remember, we were working on mixed reality back in 1998. And now it's actually happening in the operating room. And you can use this with photonics and optics. And with Synaptive Medical, we are introducing a new generation of AI scopes. So getting to cell therapy, I mean, Dr. Robert Hariri was awarded by us, and in this case, we partner with a company called Cellularity, and they have a $250 million facility in New Jersey, and they have about 300,000 placentas. Probably one of the few public companies in stem cell therapy. And, they have series of different kind of therapies, either in clinical stage and first stage and so on. But the bottom line is that we're trying to develop also therapies for MS and cancer, and as part of the collaboration with Aramis Therapeutics. So how do we actually integrate cell therapy with, future of the MS therapy and other diseases. We also partner with Synaptive Medical. This is, we took them to Select USA, and, they were award recipient Pioneering Technology, and they're a great company. Booth is here. They have navigation system and software engineering, but also something very cool they have. They have a 0.5 Tesla MRI. 0.5 Tesla MRI gives you the ability to image people with implants in them. Okay, so, but this MRI does not have a helium cooling, meaning that you can actually put it in a ships. You can put the back of the ambulance, so it's really, really light and fascinating to work with. So through this collaboration, we are introducing new generation of imaging, but they're in a whole bunch of different hospitals. Many of them know about this company, but the key is the integration and miniaturization of technologies like MRI. So current MRIs, you have to build the entire building for them. A couple of $1 million. And this one, just put in your office. And 0.5 Tesla magnet with the AI gives you a 3 Tesla image. So this is what they did in 2016, 2019, 2023, and basically this is 3 Tesla image of the brain tumor versus 0.5 Tesla. It's hard to see which one is. I would say probably 0.5 is better, but that's my probably bias. But that's the point. The point is that the new generation of technologies are coming, and we are going to demonstrate them in our Neurotech convention. And also, you can integrate this with the radiotherapy. So in conclusion, I'm a couple of minutes over time, but I wanted to say that the integration of nanotechnology device and supercomputing, optical photonics with cell therapy will completely revolutionize the way that we actually treat neurological disorders and completely revolutionize medicine. But also, it's very important that we break silos. In this organization, in this convention, we have broken silos. So basically, you have stem cell scientists here with a huge number of neurotech scientists. We have neurosurgeons and physicians of different background, and it's very important that you all get involved in policy and educate your congressmen and senators about what you do, because if they don't know about what you do, they don't know how to pass that legislation. If they don't know about stem cell therapy or computer or AI, or they will not be able to pass proper legislation. So I think with that, I want to thank you, all of you. And if you have any questions, please come to the podium and ask questions. And we will quickly start a book signing very soon. And thank you so much. Any questions from the audience? Okay, so I think that makes it easy. All right, so I think we will start. You have a question?
Thank you, Dr. Babak, for that. one of the reasons I joined the organization was because of that vision. And I think, what have you found to be the greatest, you've been with this organization for 22 years, right? So as far as a neurosurgeon to come to this, like you said, you have to break yourself and reinvent yourself. So is there any advice for people that are considering joining the organization, that how should they view us, and what is the easiest way to get past that? And how do they sell it to their colleagues when they go back to their institutions?
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you, our President Haridas. So Dr. Haridas is our 22nd president, and has done a marvelous job of pulling together remarkable skull-based surgeons here. So one of the things that we did, thanks to you, we put together a cadaver lab, bioskills lab. But most bioskills labs in any medical conferences are for surgeons. We said no. We want bioengineers scrub in. Okay? We want stem cell scientists scrub in, because once you see the surgery and the approach, then the light's going to go on, and then you come up with a new therapy, right? So, I mean, that's kind of completely game-changing in the world of associations to allow bioengineers scrub in, So I think we encourage our students to do that, and even the faculty. I pulled some of the neurotech faculties by engineers and say, hey, you got to go and see. And building that bridge is key. And I think fast-tracking therapeutics is very important for us through policy, advocacy, but also there are investment group. Some of them are here. I heard several VC venture funds are here. So I have some meetings with them. But so basically, this is a different group. We are not a conference. We are a think tank. Okay? We all come together, share data, but we drive the field. So.
Hi, Babak. Thanks for your lecture. It's amazing. And as you are as a scientist, how can all these researches can be for people from underserved areas? I know your actions more than the borders of the United States. How you feel that all of these results can go to for those who needs in underserved areas?
Fabulous question. I mean, Dr. Marcus Wagner, one of the renowned neurosurgeons from Brazil, from Brazilian delegation here. So, and with his son and daughter. I think that's a very good question, because when you talk technology, people automatically say expensive. Was COVID-19 vaccine expensive? They did it. So COVID-19 vaccine is a great example of nanoparticles. I mean, it's basically you need a nano envelope to put the mRNA in it to send it. And the reason it's very effective because it does not need a receptor binding. So the nanoparticles pass through cellular bilayer, lipid bilayer, so fast, make them extremely potent. So, I think, so that's an example that's nanomedicine going to completely revolutionize, and you can afford it. Like Abraxane is a nanoparticle-based therapy for breast cancer and lung cancer, and paclitaxel, you've probably heard of that. So that's been used globally. So I think the AI, machine learning will a little bit democratize technology, but new generation of technology is less expensive, as I showed you. 0.5 Tesla magnet MRI that you can put it in the office in the 6th floor is less in weight and cost than a current MRI that you have to put $5 million to buy it and put another $2 million to put the beams to put this in the up. So technology is not necessarily more expensive. So, any other questions? Okay, fabulous. And with that, we will go quickly to book signing. I asked from Professor John Yu to join me on the stage. John? John is Vice Chairman of Neurosurgery at Cedars-Sinai and my co-editor in this textbook of nanoneurosurgery, so it's a great honor to have him here. So we're gonna be seated here, and then we're going to get started with book signing. So Dr. Bolanos and Dr. Morris, if you don't mind, bring the books up. Okay. Those of you who are interested to receive the signed copy of the textbook of nanoneurosurgery can join us from there. Thank you.